thought I'd do a quick live. So I'm in a town or city, I think it is, called Bridgewater. The signal isn't very good here, so we may break up a little bit. I haven't done any lives today because my camper, my old 1967 camper, the brakes had a problem, so I spent over an hour, maybe longer, trying to fix them. I think they're okay now. My daughter, Yasmin, who is 8, has a gymnastics competition. So we've just been there. She did very well. It's just finished and I've got 10 minutes. I thought I'd quickly go live. Let everyone know why I haven't been live today, because I've just been tied up. Normally I get lots of spare time. Now I've got some good topics coming up. Some of the topics are very typical of what we always do. Always defending Elvis Presley. One of the topics coming up will be, does Priscilla deserve to be buried next to Elvis Presley, her ex-husband? This is one of the topics. We've already discussed the topic of, was Priscilla Presley a virgin when she met Elvis? We've had a massive reaction on that as well. Now, Priscilla does keep coming up. But the more research we do, hi Finola, yeah, she did great. Yeah, it is a bit odd that I haven't been on. I had to return the laptop, but don't worry, it's being replaced tomorrow. The laptop I had, it was good, it was great, but the speakers on it were faulty. So they're sending me a replacement tomorrow. So back to the old system until tomorrow. It doesn't really matter. It's only one day. We won't even notice it, will we? We're used to the old one. Let me just hold this. I'm just holding the phone at the moment. So, the topic of Priscilla. Does she have the right to be buried next to her ex-husband? I mean, as soon as I say that, ex-husband, I'm like, well, it just doesn't make sense, does it? Who gets buried next to their ex-husband? It's unheard of. If I asked you now, guys, have you ever known anyone who gets buried next to their ex-husband? You'd probably laugh at me and say, what are you on about? Nobody gets buried next to their ex-husband. Nobody. So this is going to be quite an interesting little debate. Come on, seriously. Does anyone for a second think it's normal to be buried next to your ex-husband? Remember why they divorced. Firstly, she was unfaithful with Steve Peck just after Lisa Marie was born. And then 18 months later, around that, she's unfaithful with Mike Stone, the karate champion. So it just doesn't make sense, does it? So then she demands the divorce. You know, we've heard it all before, haven't we, guys? It's like a scratch record. We keep repeating it. So why is it that the public, the general public, why do they still believe that Priscilla was married to Elvis when he died? Why do the public believe that when Elvis died, he was still with Priscilla? It doesn't make sense. It goes over and over again in my mind. And I just don't get it. Why has Priscilla been able to manipulate the public on her relationship with Elvis to the point where many of the public believe that Priscilla did no wrong? That Priscilla was a decent, faithful wife and didn't actually do anything wrong at all. Why? It's like the sun's in my eyes, guys. It just doesn't make sense. If you speak to the average person in the street, he will say to you, oh no, They split up because Elvis was unfaithful. Elvis had a problem with drugs. Elvis was binge eating fast food and killed himself. They can't be more wrong, can they? People cannot be more wrong about the truth to do with Elvis and Priscilla. I was saying this yesterday. Priscilla has managed to manipulate the press for basically 50 years or more. She wrote the book, Elvis and Me, but by the time she got to the point of writing that book, she had realized that the public believe everything she says. Honestly, guys, Priscilla had realized that everything she says is believed, whether it be in the tabloids, whether it be in the magazines, whether it be on the news clips, the interviews. There was no one to disagree with her. No one disagreed with Priscilla. Whatever she said was treated as fact. Now, I'll never understand why. Why is it the interviewers, if you go back to the interviews in the late 70s and the 80s, why do the press treat Priscilla like she was a poor victim? Poor Priscilla, poor Priscilla. How did you go through that with Elvis? It must have been so tough. This is how they treat her. Then she takes full glory. She is a perpetual victim for Nola. Then she takes full glory for saving Gracelands, for opening the museum, when we know that she didn't save Gracelands. It wasn't her idea to open the museum. But the public think that Priscilla saved Gracelands. The public think that Priscilla, it was her idea to do the Living Museum, to make Gracelands a memorial to Elvis Presley. That it was, the public believe that Priscilla is the reason Elvis is remembered today. How ridiculous is that? Why do the public, even for a second, believe it and go along with it? It doesn't make sense. Elvis's music, Elvis's soul and personality, his body of work. He was a workaholic. He worked himself to his death, pleasing the fans, creating beautiful music with that beautiful voice and that amazing talent, that God-given talent that he had. The fans fell in love. The fans fell in love with Elvis, didn't they? The fans knew the true Elvis. When you see the people that are being questioned on the day that Elvis passed, on the day Elvis passed, and you have the fans being questioned by the news companies, the fans knew the true Elvis. The fans truly knew who Elvis was. We knew. It wasn't because of Priscilla. When Elvis had died on August the 16th, 1977, the fans didn't think about Priscilla. Priscilla was far from their thoughts. Priscilla hadn't been with Elvis for 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years. She was a distant memory. But then suddenly, Elvis dying. In my opinion, Priscilla saw an opportunity. Finally, I'm allowed back in. Because in my mind, after Priscilla divorced Elvis, the doors for Priscilla were shut. Yes, Elvis was decent to Priscilla. He gave her the money she wanted for her, for Lisa. He wanted to do right by Priscilla. He wanted to do right by his beautiful daughter, who he adored and worshipped. The most important human being in Elvis's life, lovely Lisa Marie, who we all miss and adore and we want justice for. So the door opened. Elvis dies. The door opens for Priscilla. Priscilla maneuvers herself into a position with Vernon Presley. She sees the possibility of power and wealth. She sees the possibility of the Presley name being used to her advantage. Here's my chance to get Gracelands, to have almighty power over the Elvis world. And she grabbed that opportunity. Priscilla grabbed the opportunity with both hands. With both hands, guys. Now, many think that things were manipulated with Vernon. Vernon allowing Priscilla almighty power, probably because she was the mother of Lisa Marie. No other reason than Vernon hoping that Priscilla would do right by Lisa Marie. Vernon really hoped that Priscilla would do the right thing by Lisa Marie Presley. And he was wrong. Vernon was wrong. He trusted Priscilla. Maybe he didn't trust her. Maybe Vernon had no choice. He was on his deathbed. He had to make a decision. And in the end, who could he trust more with Lisa Marie, who Elvis absolutely worshipped and adored? Elvis's only daughter, only child. Who could Vernon trust more than the mother of Lisa Marie? And he was wrong. And he was wrong. Because if we read the book, From Here to the Great Unknown, if we look at the history of Lisa Marie after Elvis' passing, even before that, even if we go from when they divorced, if we look at the daily timing of what happened each day after, firstly after Lisa walked out and went and lived with a stranger, Mike Stone. Yes, Lisa Marie was forced to live with a stranger, Mike Stone, the karate champion. If we look at the days after that, everything fell apart for Lisa Marie. Things didn't go well for Lisa once Priscilla made the decision to force the divorce through. Because Elvis didn't believe in breaking up a marriage. Even though they had their differences, Priscilla and Elvis, it was obvious the relationship was broken. Elvis still believed in a family union. Mother, father, child living together. Elvis still believed in it. But no, Priscilla demanded the divorce. Now, Elvis did file for the divorce, but I do think he reluctantly did it. The Christian man who lived by the Bible, who prayed every day, didn't believe in divorce, didn't believe in a mother and a father separating for the sake of the daughter, Lisa Marie. But Priscilla had made up her mind. She had set her sights on fame, on stardom, on success, on more wealth, on movies, on TV, on modeling, on business, on entrepreneurship. New men, new boyfriends. Priscilla liked her men. I repeat, Priscilla liked her men. The door was open. These are the topics for my next video. My next live stream will discuss everything we've just mentioned. I gotta go, guys. All the best to you. A quick live stream. I'll be back in a few hours to do